Hi, it's me, Ingrid INFP. I wanted to talk about FE today and my frustrations with FE, and maybe some tips about how to deal with FE users. Um, FE is a pretty well used function by a lot of the population, especially the female population. But my best friends are guys and they use FE as their uh, dominant or a secondary function. So that makes them a little bit different from other guys, which is good. It makes them very caring and very and compassionate and generous people. And I really admire that about them and I love them for that. But I want to talk about my frustrations with FE because a lot of people think that being a good person equals FE or the other way around, like FE means that you're a nice person. But that's not always the case. And FI is not a bad function to have, which a lot of FE users should do well to remember. FI can be just as caring and compassionate as FE can. It's just in a different way. So, what are my issues with FE? Well, FE, first of all, does not view FI very well. They view FI as selfish, as, well, at least self-centered, as stubborn, as creating disharmony. Pretty much it. Of course, FE users can find good points in FI as well. I'm just talking about the negatives for now. And none of it is wrong. I mean, FI is a self-centered thing because it's about feelings inside of a person. But that doesn't mean that we are egotistical because of our self-centered nature. It doesn't mean that we don't care about people or that we only care about ourselves. And it doesn't mean that we are there to create disharmony. We actually usually value harmony and want that for ourselves and for others. So I think that FE users should see beneath the surface and kind of want to dispel these myths that go around in society. So that's point number one of why FE frustrates me, is because they don't understand FI. Point number two is that it kind of makes it difficult for the FE user to say no to things, and that kind of frustrates me about my friends who use FE because they always feel this pressure to do whatever other people have told them, or to be nice to people, and who these other people they want to be nice to have at best not done anything for them, or at worst actively hurt them. So they can be too forgiving at times of the wrongs that other people have done for them. They keep giving second chances and stuff, and that's very nice. But at a certain point, people can't really change that much. If they're an asshole, it will take them years, if ever, to get better. So, I mean, I can forgive people too, but it's not FE users are more likely to be doormats and pushovers. And FE users don't see INFPs usually as pushovers. But that's not actually true, because we have these boundaries which they don't. So that's my second deal with FE, is that it makes life hard for the actual FE user, and it kind of makes me sad that I have to say that to my friends that this is not okay, you can't be treated like this. and they just keep forgiving. So that was point number 2. Point number 3 about FE. FE keeps trying to get me introduced to new people and new activities, and I just want to do my own thing. And as an INFP, I'm pretty individual, and I don't want to do what everyone else is doing. The typical example is like when you're a kid and like there's some mom who comes by and who's like, oh, everybody, now let's go do a group activity and let's have fun together. And I will be on my guard and I'll be like, ugh, gosh, I don't want to go and socialize with these people. And I'd be weird to the FE user. Well, like I'm thinking about ESFJs or whatever. I'd be weird and I'd be like bratty because I'm not going with what everybody else is supposed to be doing, and I'm creating disharmony and being a bad person, basically. So I don't really like that. Please let me do my own thing. Like I'll join in with you guys if I trust you guys and if I find myself comfortable doing it, but like don't force me to take part in these activities. Point number 4, I guess, is about how FE is kind of fake, kind of superficial. I mean, it's all been said before, but as an FI user, it is really jarring to see people act very sugary nice with each other when you can tell that they're like, they hate each other's guts. And like, I can perceive that with my intuition. I can see that like, this isn't going well. And I do understand that a good amount of social etiquette is important, but it's not going to be very pleasant for anybody if you're just pretending to like each other when you really don't. And the 5th is the customer service kind of thing. I think this is more on a society level, is that, we all have to do this customer service kind of stuff and say all of these words and say all these phrases in order to get people to like us and to be charismatic. And I'm not really good at that. And FE users are very natural at that, and I admire them for that. But they can't expect me to do things as naturally as they do. So, I mean, I'm a doctor, so I have to say these things and I have to be a figure of authority, but also like kind at the same time, and say the right thing. Saying the right thing is difficult for me as an FI user. And I'm glad that there are FE users out there who are good at this, because I'm not. But sometimes people need to realize that FE is not the only way to be compassionate. FI can be very compassionate and empathetic, and sometimes even more so because we can put ourselves into other people's shoes. So I think that FI can be just as warm and caring as an FE user would be. So that's what I have, that's my beef with FE. Of course, it's pretty nice beef because I do really appreciate FE users, and most of my friends are FE dominant or auxiliary. So I love you guys. I'm just saying that FI isn't bad, and FE isn't always good. So that's what I had to say. Tell me what you think about FE, and if you have any other comments to make. Have a great day. Bye bye.